Hi, hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is Skye and today I'm doing another collab. We've got 2 collabs in 1 week today, baby. Today I'm collaborating with Sanne from Bottle of Happiness. I think I'm pronouncing her name wrong. I have such a fear of pronouncing people's names wrong, so I tried my best, but it's probably incorrect. I've met Sanne quite recently and her looks are so beautiful. Like every time I see them, I literally get taken aback and I go, whoa. That is beautiful, that is magical. And Sanne does a lot of look videos, I actually have her channel pulled up right next to me so I can directly reference. She does makeup collection videos, story times, lots of get ready with me's and talks about her collection specifically and lots of anti-hauls as well. I feel like mine and her channel are quite similar with the content that we do, so if you like my content, you'll definitely love Sanne. And today we're going to be talking about the palettes that we would buy for just one shade. Now for me personally, whenever I buy palettes, I have to like the entire palette or at least 80% of the palette in order to buy it. But we're going to talk about those eyeshadows and palettes that really stand out to us and we would genuinely buy it for that one shade. Let's continue. I have a set of palettes in front of me and let's talk about them. I'm not going to talk about every single palette in my collection. I just pulled out ones that there are shadows that I immediately think of when I think of that palette, and yeah, let's get started. We're gonna start off with the palette that I'm actually wearing on my face today. This is the Lunar Beauty Moonspell palette. And this palette has a lot of stunning shades. However, the shade that I am immediately drawn to whenever I look at this palette is this shade Prue right here. This is such a stunning kind of like lavender grey metallic shadow. It's got a bit of pink in it, it's got a bit of purple, and I'm actually going to swatch out the shadows that we're talking about right here. I'm wearing Prue on my inner corners and on my lids as well. You'll see this look coming up soon in a 3 Looks 1 Palette Plus review video, but that's not going up until later in the month. Anyways, Prue is one of the most gorgeous metallic shades ever. It reminds me a lot of Cleona Glazed in a sense. I will zoom in later on so you could actually see the swatch, but oh my god, it doesn't even look nearly as pretty as it does in real life. It's so beautiful. There's so much dimension to it. Like from this angle, I see a lot of pink purple, but from your angle, you see a lot of gold. So in that regard, it's very similar to Glazed by Cleona. So if you're wanting that shadow, this is not quite a dupe of it, but it's similar enough. I have a few from Oden's Eye to talk about, and the first one being from the Alva palette. Now the shadow in here that sings to my soul, I think most of you can guess which one it is this one right here called Lilac. Lilac is such a beautiful high shine, like kind of more of an eyeshadow topper type shade because it doesn't have much of a base color, but whenever you layer this on top of other shadows, it is absolutely magnificent. You can see this actually a lot better right here. This is Lilac from the Oden's Eye Alva palette and this is Prue. However, a close runner-up would actually be this shade right here called Daisy. It's such a nice matte yellow. I love it. Most of the shadows I'm going to be talking about are metallic shadows, just so you know. Sticking with the Oden's Eye theme, the Alva 2 palette. I love this palette with my entire being. This was the easiest to choose out of all the palettes that I'm going to be talking about because the shade that I would buy this palette for is Green Elves right here. Green Elves is the most beautiful metallic green. It is... it's like kind of a minty green, but it doesn't have much of a blue undertone. It's more of like a... oh my god, it's so gorgeous! It's my favorite green shadow in my collection. This tone of green I find is so unique because, like I said, it's not quite a mint green. It's more of a... I'm not too sure. It's a stunning shadow. I use it constantly. Every time I use this palette, I want to wear Green Elves, honestly. And the name is so perfect as well. Green Elves. How freaking cute. And that's Green Elves right here. I have a couple more Oden's Eye palettes to talk about. The next one being the Mini Ocean palette. And in this palette, the shade that draws me in the most is, of course, this shade right here called Jellyfish. It's a really pretty, like... how do I describe this? It's kind of like a purpley... pewter color? Pewter? That's how do you pronounce it? I can't say that with my accent, it does not work. How do you pronounce it? Go on.
Pewter.
I'm more confused than I was originally. Here we go, pewter pronunciation, American, British, Australian and Welsh.
In American English. Pewter.
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 In British English. Pewter. Pewter.
In Australian English. Pewter.
In Australian English! Yeah, that's exactly how we sound. Fucking hell. Anyways, this is a nice pewter colour, and it's again more of an eyeshadow topper. Oden's Eye has like several different metallic formulas, and this one has not as much of a base color, and as you can see, go on, focus. Right here, that's the shade Jellyfish. And the final Oden's Eye palette is the Solmonna palette. And this is the shade, obviously, that I would buy this palette for. This lavender is a close second to the shade that I would choose. But this shade right here, what's your name? Venus. Okay, thank God, it's one of the shade names that I can actually pronounce, because the rest of the shade names are on the back, and they're all in Swedish. I cannot pronounce Swedish to save my life. This shade is so stunning. It's basically like a pink to greenish lime duochrome. Oh my god, it's so beautiful and so sparkly. I've only used this palette a handful of times, and every time I use this palette, I want to reach for this shade. That is Venus right there. It's got like a kind of brownish taupe base, but it shifts to like lime green and pink. It's so cool. Switching things up, this is from Ace Beauté. This is the Blossom Passion palette, and I wanted this palette purely for this color right here called Peony. Oh my gosh, it's not super high shine, it's more of like a thicker metallic formula. It's just strictly a metallic, there's no glitter or anything to it. But it's really pigmented and it's really smooth. It's such a beautiful baby pink color, and oh my gosh, I love this shade. If it was a high shine metallic, I would love it even more. But there is Peony right there, hang on. Right there, that's Peony. Another long boy, this is the Smoke Sessions palette by Melt, and this one is mostly shimmers, and I feel like most people would think that I would reach for one of these greens right here because, I mean, they are really stunning. However, the shade that I mainly bought this palette for was this shade called Black Widow. This is a gorgeous antique gold. It's kind of like a khaki green antique gold. It's quite nice. It's very Kaka-esque. I do like it. The texture of this shadow is quite weird. It's quite crumbly, and it's not like super high shine, but it is very metallic. Ooh, look at that. So that right there is Black Widow. It's throwing a wrench in this system. Like, all of these are nice, like, pastel shades, and then there's fucking Black Widow. It is a stunning color, I cannot deny. Next, we have the Kaleidos Escape Pod palette. Now, this one was the hardest to choose because I love so many shades in here. Like, I could just say all the metallics, honestly. However, if I had to pick my #1 favorite, it's a tie between Saturnalia and Comet Catcher. Hang on, it's not called Comet Catcher, it's called Cosmic Cabaret. I keep getting that mixed up with their highlighter color. It's definitely a tie between those two, but I feel like... oh, I don't know. Because this is the prettiest warm-toned purple I've ever seen, and this is such a stunning, like, olive green metallic. I think I have to give it to Saturnalia. The more I think about it, the more, like, I love it, and this color is just magnificent. We have a couple more Kaleidos palettes to go through, the next one being the Electro Turquoise, and, oh, this one is a very obvious answer for me. It's gotta be this shade right here. I believe it's called Tron. I don't actually have the sheet that has the names of this one, but oh my gosh, I recently wore the Escape Pod and the Electro Turquoise together in a look recently, and oh my god! Sorry to be dramatic, but holy shit, this is just such a stunning turquoise color. And that right there is Tron. Final Kaleidos palette, and this is the Sashimi City. And of course, everything I'm mentioning is shimmers. My favorite shimmer in this palette has to be Penthouse right here, because this actually, it's such an interesting color because it's got like a, it's like a pink, it's got like a slightly pink base, but it's got like a yellowy champagne-ness to it, and it shifts to like green and blue. It's a really cool color. It's so hard to describe. Oh my gosh, that is stunning. It just looks wet on your eyes. And that right there is Penthouse. Oh my god, these swatches are so bad now. Also, in case you want to know a dupe for Penthouse, I think Divina Gumballs is very similar. I own both of them, and I feel like this reminds me a lot of Gumballs. Not exactly the same, but close enough. And the final palette I'm going to be talking about is the Glam Light Cake palette. This one was really hard to choose, and I still have no idea, like, if I could choose like one shade. Oh, it's difficult. Part of me wants to pick one of these shimmers because they are absolutely divine. However, I'm gonna be honest, it's this shade right here called Key Lime, our first matte and our only matte. Every time I look at this palette, I think of this shade right here. It's just so bright and stands out against everything else. It's like a traditional grass green. And that right there is Key Lime, our only matte. So I'm gonna go through all of the shadows. So this one right here is Prue from the Moonspell palette. This is Lilac from the Alva palette by Oden's Eye. This is Green Elves from the Oden's Eye Alva 2. This is Jellyfish from the Oden's Eye Mini Ocean. This is Venus from the Oden's Eye Solmonna palette. This is Peony from the Ace Beauté Blossom Passion. This is Black Widow from the Smoke Sessions palette. This is Saturnalia from the Kaleidos Escape Pod. This is Tron from the Electro Turquoise palette. This is Penthouse from the Kaleidos Sashimi City palette. And this is Key Lime from the Glamlight Cake palette. But with all that said and done, these are the palettes that I would buy for one specific shade, and all of the shades swatched out. I have a theme. Like, metallics call my name so much, but I do love mattes quite a lot. But unique shimmers is where my heart lies. So if we're looking at this set of swatches, I really like pastel shimmers, which is no surprise at all, but I really like green. Like a lot. There's a lot of green represented here, like this one, this one, this one, this one, and this one. This one has a bit of green in it too. Didn't realize I liked green this much, but here we are. But anyways, that is it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Please do check out Sanne's video and her channel. They will both be linked down below. I cannot wait to see which palettes she chooses because I am so curious. I'm already like thinking, what? I actually have no idea. Now, I'm trying to like guess, but I cannot guess. It's too difficult. Full details of this makeup look should already be on Instagram, which is beautyybyskye right here. Do follow me on there if you want to see more makeup content from me. Actually, that being said, I don't think that this look is going to be on Instagram just yet. It will be there soon though, so. And you can also follow me on my other social media. I have a personal Instagram, I live stream on Twitch sometimes, and my Twitter are all linked down below, along with my Ko-fi page if you'd like to tip me a coffee. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't already. I would love to have you here. And as always, stay safe, wash your hands, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!